Hi guys, it's Corey. Welcome back to my channel where we talk about everything related to hormones and feeling your best life. Today, I want to talk about something called set point. As we get started, how many of you have ever lost 5 pounds just to gain 5 pounds right back? Or you've been really successful, you lost 10 pounds, and then all of a sudden you're super hungry again and you gain those 10 pounds back. So that is what we call set point. So today we're going to talk about what that set point is, what it means, and what we can do about the set point, okay? So let's get started. So the body set point is a theory suggesting that our bodies have a built-in weight control mechanism determining a specific range of weight that the body tries to maintain. So if you want to think about this for a second, think of a thermostat. If it gets a little too hot, your AC is going to kick in to make it cooler. If it gets too cold, your heater is going to kick in to make it a little hotter. So all that boils around, if you have it set at 68 degrees, then the body is going to do everything it can to get back to 68 degrees. So hormonal regulation, let's talk about that for a second. If you're so lost on what hormones are, make sure you check out the video that I have, What is a Hormone? So you understand why I talk about hormones all the time. So hormonal regulation of the body is what is trying to keep your body at that set point equilibrium. And so we think of two hormones. Sometimes you hear about these. These are not most common ones. A lot of times you're hearing about cortisol or thyroid or insulin or estrogen, any of those hormones. But today we're going to talk about leptin and ghrelin for a minute. These are the two hormones that are responsible for that set point, and they act like the mercury in your thermometer that are trying to go back and forth and get you back to a certain spot. So leptin, released by fat cells, signals satiety, whereas ghrelin, produced in the stomach, signals hunger. So again, let me say that so that you get it. Leptin is released by the fat cells and it signals that you are full. You don't need anything else, so you are full. Whereas ghrelin, which is produced in the stomach, signals hunger. So if you lose weight, leptin levels decrease. Okay, so leptin levels decrease, prompting you to eat more. So you've lost weight. The body says, I want you to go back to the weight that you need to be. And so those leptin levels are going to decrease. If you gain weight, though, your ghrelin levels are going to decrease, curbing your hunger. So when you go ahead and start gaining weight, your body's going to say, oh, we hit the spot we need to be. We don't need to change anything. So leptin and ghrelin are going to work together, and that is that yin and yang, if you think of it, pulling you back into this set point. Another way to look at this is your metabolic adaptation. So when you eat below your required energy intake, so everybody has your basic metabolic rate. Your basic metabolic rate is how many calories your body burns at rest. So not exercising, not doing anything else, but just at rest, doing your normal day-to-day activities, whether it's sitting at your desk, whether it's going to work, whether it's going to school, whether it's taking care of children. Your basic metabolic rate includes all of that. So if you weren't burning calories at rest, you would be dead. So that is where the basic metabolic rate comes in. When you eat below that amount, so let's say your basic metabolic rate is 1300. You know us, we like the number 13, so we're going to choose 1300. If you eat below 1300, then what your body is going to do is it's going to slow down to conserve energy. It says, oh, they're not giving me enough food. I need to slow down and conserve energy. So this is why people start to plateau after their initial weight loss. If you continue to eat below those calories, then what your body does is it basically adjusts the amount of calories it's burning at rest to make sure that everything that's super important keeps happening. And so therefore, it makes it so you now no longer need 1,300 calories to survive. You only need 1,000. And so this is where it plateaus. Again, this pulls back into your set point weight again, because your body has this happy place where it wants to be. And so if it can make it so that you can function at lower calories, then it is going to do that. So how do we change the set point weight? I think that's what most women really want to know, because it can be so frustrating if you are, let's say, 140 pounds and you work really, really hard and you get that weight down to 135 and you go out one night and the next night you drink something else that maybe you weren't having when you were losing weight, and all of a sudden that weight goes back up. And you're back at that 140 and you're just stuck there. So we always tell our clients, slow and steady wins the race. This is the key why. So what has to happen is you gradually have to change your eating habits in order to bring that set point weight down. So if you go on a diet and you all of a sudden lose 10 pounds in 2 weeks, that isn't going to be sustainable weight loss. You're going to find that as soon as you go back to eating the way you were eating, or you change up your activities, you're going to gain that weight right back. And sometimes, remember how we talked about the metabolic adaptation? If you have lowered your metabolism to get to that point, so your basic metabolic rate has lowered, which is basically your metabolism is your basic metabolic rate, then you're going to find that you're going to gain weight, and you're going to gain weight quicker. So we need to do it slow and sustain the change. So thinking about small additional habits and changes. So this is where we talk to women and look at what you're currently eating. So are you eating, too much sugar? Are you eating too many refined carbohydrates? Are you eating processed foods? All of those are things that you can do that are going to help balance the hormones. So the ghrelin, the leptin, also the cortisol, the thyroid, the insulin. So balancing all of those is going to help. When we start working with an individual and they are stuck at a certain point, we want to look at all of their hormones and make sure that they are optimized and working the right way. Because if they aren't, then that set point is just going to stay. And there's no way that we're going to be able to break it. So we want to see continual, habitual, small changes to work. So if you are stepping on that scale and you are, eating healthy and you're working out and you see that you are consistently losing a pound a week, that is absolutely the best news ever. That's what I want to hear, because what you're doing is you're making habitual changes to sustain that weight loss and keep it off. Again, also regular physical activity is going to change that. So not beating the body up. We don't want tons of inflammation. We want you to just have a sustainable workout exercise routine. So one thing that I think about here is that find what you love. If you love walking, do walking. It's fabulous for your body. And we're going to do another video on mindful walking and why it's so important. But if you love strength training, do that. If you love riding your bike outside, do that. Find physical activity that's good for your heart, it's good for your body, that you really, really love. That is going to be key for making a change and living it long term. Other things that's going to help with this is your sleep. So your sleep is going to directly affect particularly ghrelin and leptin. So a consistent sleep schedule and having a routine that you follow before you go to bed. So, we like to call it the 3-2-1 rule. 3 hours before bed, you stop eating. 2 hours before bed, all work is cut off. So no emails, no work phone calls, no nothing with work, because we want to decompress the mind. And then 1 hour before bed, no screen time. So get away from all that screen time. I will say, I know some of us ladies, the only time we ever go to watch TV is probably right before we go to bed. So if you are doing that, blue light glasses, please, to make sure that you are getting all those harmful blue lights out of the way so that you can actually get some sleep. Last thing we're going to talk about in terms of breaking that set point is stress management. So chronic stress can elevate cortisol levels, which can result in weight gain. And sadly, women, the majority of your cortisol receptors are right in your midsection. So that is why we gain so much weight in our midsection. Let's compound things. Let me add in just a little bit about estrogen and progesterone. As your natural estrogen starts to decline, if you have abdominal belly fat, it actually will produce some estrogen. So your body actually likes it and it wants more of it there, because then that way it will help you reduce all the side effects from having less estrogen. So to keep that in check, make sure you're getting enough sleep. This is where you need to prioritize your sleep over everything. And hopefully, especially if we're in our 40s by this time, there aren't too many distractions keeping us up late at night. Obviously, in our late 20s, pretty much all of our 30s, I know for me, all of my 30s, that was little kids. So little kids that are keeping you up all night long. So really prioritize your sleep. No Netflix late into the night. Please, please, please. My best advice to you is if you love those Netflix shows, do them on a treadmill. So watch the show while you're on the treadmill. So when we talk about all of that with a set point, that is kind of our whole, synopsis of what it is, what it looks like, and how you go about breaking it and making a change in it. So if you have any questions about what the set point is, how you see that change, or if the success that you're making with that 1 pound of weight loss is really what you want, comment right here. Let us know, or you can always reach out to us on our website, strengthandgracefitness.com. You can also find me on social, so obviously here on YouTube, but you can also find me on Instagram and Facebook at Corry Matthews. So super simple, as long as you spell my name right. Just look at the channel, you will find me. So have a fabulous day. Thanks so much for tuning in. Again, if you like the content that we're sharing, be sure that you subscribe so that every time we put out a new video, you will get it. Thanks again. Bye, guys.